Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Wednesday, November 9, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Atlanta Hawks vs Utah Jazz. This spread is suggesting that Young is going to return from his injury on Wednesday, which seems like it will be the case. He participated in pre-game warm-ups on Monday, and a few more days of rest should give him enough time to return. The Hawks put together a phenomenal performance without him, taking down the previously undefeated Bucks. They are facing a Utah team that has seen all three of its losses come away from home. It makes sense the Jazz are much better offensively than defensively, and it is easier to shoot in a familiar environment. The Hawks have won 17 of their last 20 home games, and I expect them to add another win on Wednesday. Take Atlanta minus 3.5 points. Utah and Atlanta are scoring well this season, as the Jazz are second in the NBA, with an average of 118.3 points per game, and the Hawks are sixth, with an average of 116.5 points per game. Defensively, Utah is only 14th in points allowed, and Atlanta is 15th. The total has finished over in 6 of Atlanta's last 7. Utah and Atlanta have both played up-tempo this season, with Atlanta's duo of Young and Murray launching shots almost the second they crossed the half-court line, making for more second looks in case of misses, more possessions and more points scored. Take the over. Chicago Bulls vs New Orleans Pelicans. The Bulls have struggled without Lavin in the lineup this season, just 1-3 in the 4 games he has missed. The Bulls are just 18th in the NBA in scoring and are 21st in field goal percentage. They will be playing with Lavin on Wednesday with a day between games. They have not used him in back-to-back games yet, but he is able to play with a day of rest between games. With Lavin, the Bulls are able to free up leading scorer DeMar DeRozan for shots while avoiding double team. The Bulls are 5-3 with Lavin in the lineup and 4-1 at home with him available. The Pelicans played like a team that just wants to head home in their last game and will have to find a way to ratchet up their intensity in this game as well. The Pelicans, meanwhile, are just 4-6 at TS this year thus far, while the Bulls are a more formidable 7-4-1 at TS this season. Look for the Bulls to take full advantage of the sluggish Pelicans defense and DeRozan to heat up after 2 straight modest games. Take the Bulls +2. New Orleans is just 1-3 in its last 4 games and concludes its 3-game road trip in Chicago on Tuesday. In its last game against Indiana, the Pelicans were outscored in both halves, but it was a close game the entire time. They were led by Brandon Ingram, who dropped 29, while Zion Williamson had 26. Herb Jones and Jonas Valanciunas chipped in with 16 and 14 points respectively, while off the bench, Trey Murphy 3 and Devont Graham both had 11. Chicago is in the middle of a 3-game homestand, but after the game against New Orleans won't play again until Sunday against Denver. In its back-to-back against Toronto, the Raptors beat Chicago by 9 at home, and on Sunday, the Bulls returned the favor by beating them by 14. They were led by Zach Lavin, who had 30 points, while Nikola Vucevic had a double-double with 15 points and 13 rebounds. Off the bench, Derrick Jones Jr. also added 12 points. New Orleans is the best over team in the league, while Chicago is just 5-7. Even though the Pelicans play at a pace of 97, which ranks 19th, they still use their possessions effectively, while Chicago plays at a pace of 98.2, which ranks 14th. Meanwhile, in the Pelicans' last 5 games, the games are averaging PPG, while the Bulls' games are averaging 213.6 PPG, but that includes games in which the Raptors, Hornets, and Nets all failed to score 100 points, which won't be the case with the Pelicans, who score a ton of points. Take the over here. Oklahoma City Thunder vs Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks had their 9-game winning streak snapped by the Hawks in their last game, giving them their first loss of the season. They will try to bounce back from the loss with a win over the Thunder, which will give them their 10th win in their last 11 games. Milwaukee is averaging 111.4 points per game. They scored 98 points in their last game, making 41.4% of their field goals and 32.5% of their three-pointers. Giannis Antetokounmpo led Milwaukee with 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. Jrue Holiday finished with 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists, while Bobby Portis finished with 11 points and 10 rebounds. Milwaukee is one of the best defensive teams in the league, giving up 102.7 points per game. They gave up 117 points in their last game and will need to do a better job if they want to get the win. The Thunder aren't playing well at the moment and come into this game on a 3-game losing streak. They will try to put an end to their streak with a win over the Bucks, which will give them their 5th win in their last 8 games. Oklahoma City is averaging 109.7 points per game. They scored 103 points in their last game, making 40.2% of their field goals and 30.3% of their three-pointers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led Oklahoma City with 33 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Kenrich Williams finished with 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, while Mike Muscala added 11 points and 4 rebounds. Oklahoma City has struggled defensively, giving up 111.8 points per game. They gave up 112 points in their last game and will need to play better if they want to win this game. The Bucks have won 9 of their last 10 games and 2 of their 3 road games. They are playing well offensively, scoring more than 111 points per game. They do a good job finding the open man, and they're very aggressive on the offensive glass, grabbing more than 12 offensive rebounds per game, which will lead to a lot of extra scoring opportunities. They are facing an Oklahoma City team that has struggled defensively in recent games, giving up more than 113 points per game, and won't have trouble scoring in this game. The Thunder have lost 3 straight games and 6 of their last 10 overall. They aren't very good offensively, and they played worse during their losing streak, averaging less than 103 points per game in their last 3 games. They struggled from the free throw line during the stretch and made less than 30% of their three-point shots in their last 3 games. Their rebounding hasn't been very good, which will limit their extra scoring opportunities. They are facing a Milwaukee team that does a great job forcing turnovers and has been very good defensively, giving up less than 103 points per game, and will have a hard time keeping up in this game. Go with Milwaukee to cover the spread. Take the Milwaukee Bucks minus 5.5 points. The Bucks will be able to win without Holiday, but they won't be able to put up a ton of points. Milwaukee is only shooting at 45% from the field, which ranks 25th in the NBA. The Thunder are averaging only 110 points per game. The under has a record of 5-1 in the last 6 meetings between the Bucks and Thunder. The under is 4-0 in Bucks' last 4 road games. The under is 4-0 in the Thunder's last 4 games versus a team with a winning percentage above .600. Take the under on Wednesday.